Hey, what is going on? It is Friday, 12 noon Eastern time, which means it's time for this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Christman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Friday, 12 noon Eastern time for State of Real Estate. This is your weekly mastermind to grow your real estate business. We're talking about probably one of the most important aspects of your real estate business today, and it's your commission. The commission that you're charging. How do you charge more commission? What is it ultimately that people are paying us a commission for? Why do we deserve a cut of the sale price of the property? What is it that we get paid for that we do? And you understanding that is going to help you provide more value to your clients, which helps you get more deals closed or really build a huge base of referral business. So that's what we're talking about today. Commission, money, commission. That's today's topic. I'm John Christmo. You're watching State of Real Estate.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Christman. This show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Friday, 12 noon Eastern time, to help you make more money in real estate, to be able to maybe make money in the first place in real estate. You know, a lot of real estate agents, the average real estate agent, and this is the war we're trying to fight every single day, is the war against average, of just being an average agent where you hope that business comes to you someday. That we want to arm you with the knowledge that you need, so not only can you speed up the process at which you make money, but you can do it at a more accelerated pace, because it's not taking you as long to find that deal that ultimately results in the closing, which ultimately results in getting you paid. So we're here every Friday, 12 noon Eastern time, with that mission. And what we're talking about today is commission. On the mission to make more commission. So what are we getting paid a commission for? You know, it's, going into real estate, you might say, okay, yeah, I'm going to earn commission, but why? Why are you earning commission? It's not because you have a real estate license, although that's a requirement for you to earn commission. If you want to earn commission, you need to have a real estate license, but having the real estate license doesn't mean that you earn commission. It allows you to earn commission. It's what's legally required for you to earn commission, but it doesn't guarantee you commission. You guarantee yourself commission by, again, arming yourself with the right knowledge that you need so you know how to go out there and get the commission. You've got the license. When you're licensed, you're legally able to go out there and get commission, but it just doesn't, fall on your lap. It's not just going to show up one day. You've got to go out there and find that commission. And even when you've got somebody that's coming to you that says, hey, I need your help, you have to earn their respect and their trust and build value with them. That's the way it is that you earn commission. That's really the key thing that you want to keep in mind when you think of commission. Most of the time, if I were to ask any real estate agent about commission, if I just say the word commission, what do you think of? You think of money. And what does your client think of when they say commission? Well, they think of money too. Too often, people associate commission with money. And yeah, ultimately, that's the output. That is the result of the commission. But what we have to put into this to be able to get that commission out is value. Value is what is going to make our commission seem cheap, regardless of what commission it is that we're charging. So there's a really good example I like to use. Maybe you're dealing with a for sale by owner. So let's say you're working with a for sale by owner, a FSBO. FSBO for sale by owner. And if I were to ask you, maybe you've sold your house for sale by owner before, maybe you've tried to work with for sale by owners before, and if we were to survey like 100 or 1,000 for sale by owners, one of the top, if not the top reason why, if you were to ask them, why are you selling for sale by owner? Why aren't you using an agent? It's going to be to save money. I don't want to pay a commission. I want to save money. And if you get hung up on that, it's almost like, the whole thing of looking at a glass half empty rather than half full. It's the same glass, it's the same amount of water in that glass, but that's just by nature how for sale by owners are going to think. And even when they're not a for sale by owner, when you're on a listing appointment and you're making a pitch to them of a presentation of why they should list their property with you, and maybe they're trying to negotiate you on the commission. Because again, when we say commission, people think money. And as a buyer or a seller, if we mention commission, they think, oh, how much do I have to pay this person? Whereas really the result and the only time you're ever going to earn a commission is by offering value. So let's put it back in this for sale by owner situation. Let's say you're trying to get a for sale by owner to list their property with you. You've been talking to somebody, and maybe you're sending out postcards. There's this neat little service somebody was showing me the other day. I can't remember the name of it, but you basically just put in the address of a property, and it automatically is going to mail out like 10 different postcards across so many days to this one address. So maybe you're doing something like that. Maybe just show up and knock on the door of this for sale by owner. Maybe somehow, some way you get in contact with this for sale by owner. Somebody who is trying to sell their house, somebody who is low-hanging fruit, but what's standing in the way? Why are they trying to do it on their own? Well, they're going to tell you that they want to save money. So if we get hung up on, oh, well, I don't want to pay a 6% commission. I want to save money. I want to keep as much money in my pocket as possible. They're just looking at that glass half empty type of thing. And you don't want to tell them that. That's not going to be a great analogy that works. It's like, oh, quit looking at the glass half empty. What you've got to do is show them how you can provide more value. And let me explain what I mean, because if you don't understand this yet, then your potential clients, these FSBOs aren't going to understand this if you don't understand it. So, according to the National Association of Realtors, a for sale by owner listed property versus a realtor listed property, on average, you could get as much as 30% more working through a realtor than you would selling your property on your own as a for sale by owner. That statistic, that's just a little bit of gold for you right there. And look, you can go pull this from the National Association of Realtors. This isn't something that I've made up. This is something I originally found from the National Association of Realtors. Something they're really good at is making statistics for us. So use those statistics. Is people working with a realtor, on average, sell their house for as much as 30% more. And they give you a range of 10 to 30% more. And that might be helpful to kind of help get the expectations in line. 10 to 30% more. All of a sudden, things start to make more sense. It's like, oh yeah, well, you're going to get me 30% more. How much is that going to cost me? Well, how much is your commission? Well, our commission, I don't know, maybe that's 6%, maybe you're charging 7%, maybe you're going to give them a deal and offer them 5%. That's between you and them, what you negotiate with them. But now all of a sudden, whatever commission rate, let's say you were charging a 9% commission rate, and let's go on the low end. Let's go on the low end here and say that this for sale owner, hey look, National Association of Realtors says I could get you anywhere between 10 and 30% more than what you're going to be able to get on your own selling your property because of the ways I market the property. And you don't want to just throw these statistics out there without any explanation as to why. If we go into somebody and just say, hey, I'm going to get you 30% more, they'll probably say, really, how? Because they're not going to believe us. Even if we only said, hey, we're going to get you 10% more, they're going to say, really, how? How are you going to do that? What are you going to do that I'm not? And so that's why it is important to back this stuff up with the differences it is that you have. And really what's even more important than that is figuring out what's important to them in the first place. But we'll get to that. Let's just get back to these numbers we're working with here. Let's say on the low end that let's say you're the for sale by owner. I'm trying to get you to list the property with me. And I go to you and I say, hey, look, I might be able to get you as much as 30% more. On the low end, like 10% more than what you're able to sell on your own for. Let's say I only get you that extra 10%. I'm only going to charge you a 9% commission. So my 9% commission, if you look at that on its own, yeah, it seems like a ton of money. But if I put 10%, if I put $10 in your pocket, would you give me 9 of them? Just no questions asked, that I just come in and say, hey, look, I'm going to put $10 in your pocket. The only thing I ask is once I put that $10 in your pocket, you just give me 9. And now you're probably not charging a 9% commission. Who knows? Maybe you are. But even in that case, you might say, wow, 9% commission, that's huge. That's a ton of money. If I was charging 9% commission, blah, 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 all these other things. And when we put these back on numbers that are maybe what you're charging, maybe 6%, 7%, if I were to put $10 in your pocket, and I put that $10 in your pocket up front, no questions asked, and if I can't get that $10 in your pocket, you don't have to do anything. Let's say I put $10 in your pocket, would you turn around and give me $6 for putting that $10 in your pocket, so you walk away with $4 more than you had to begin with. Well, yeah, that sounds great. Exactly. That's the value that we bring into this. And notice how I really boiled that example down. I started off with all kinds of numbers saying 10 to 30%, but you got to remember, you got to keep this simple. This isn't anything complicated. It's just a percentage. That's it. And if we're giving multiple percentages, and especially when we start to flip the script and look at the other side of the coin and look at the glass half full, yeah, I might be charging let's say just a 6% commission. Maybe you're charging 7, maybe you're charging 8, whatever it is that you're charging. If I only get you 10%, is it worth the 6% that you're paying so you get 4% more for a total of 10%? And that's on the low end. What if we got 30% more in their pocket? What if I could put 30% more in your pocket? This is us being conservative on the low end, 10%. If I could get 30% more in your pocket, you're walking away with almost a quarter of your price more, 24% more. And look, these aren't statistics that I'm making up. This is from the National Association of Realtors, of them surveying like thousands, tens of thousands of property sales to see that, yes, we really do add value. But again, that's before you even have a discussion about commission. You've got to show them the value. You've got to show the value. And especially, and this is why, like when you're doing maybe a listing presentation, that you have all these things it is that you talk about that you're going to do. Now, there's something really essential about doing that listing presentation when you're talking about these things it is that you're going to do that's really going to make it hit home with your clients. We talked about that last week, and I want to talk about it again today, but before we do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, so don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about what it is that you need to say to get your clients open to wanting to pay a commission to you, even if they're for sale by owner, how we figure that out. But first, a quick commercial break. Stick with us. I'm John Kursmo. You're watching State of Real Estate. Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're going to love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at PassFirstTry.com. That's PassFirstTry.com. State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. And welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate, your weekly mastermind to help you grow your real estate business, to help you become more successful, because that's how we succeed at the Tampa School of Real Estate, is helping you succeed. We want to see you succeed, and that's, again, how we succeed here. So look, what we're talking about today is commission. And if you just get hung up on this 6%, whether that's you, and look, if you're hung up on what it is that you want to charge, you shouldn't even have a conversation about commission until you figured out what is really important to the client. So before we took a break, I was mentioning how you need to figure out what you need to say for them to say, oh wow, that's a deal, that's a bargain. So let's say you're on a listing presentation with this for sale by owner. And let's say you're telling this for sale by owner, yeah, I do open houses and I market your property online. I'm going to bring a professional photographer in here and we're going to do a video about the property and it's going to be in the MLS and I'm going to put it on Zillow and I'm going to do this and I'm going to go do that and I'm going to do this and I'm going to go do that. And this is, the quicker it is you realize this, the faster it is you'll be able to close more deals and get more listing agreements signed. Is they don't care about all that. There's one, maybe 2 things that they care about, but there's really one thing that is what they think is the reason why the house is going to get sold. And you've got to find that out. You've got to do some fact finding, some some therapy almost even with them, because they might not even know top of mind what they think is going to be the number one thing that gets their property sold. So how do we find out what they think is important? We ask them. So let's say we're meeting with this for sale owner. They've agreed to meet with us to see if they would consider listing their property with us. And we ask them, what do you think is most important for me to do to get your home sold? And they might say something like, oh, well, I thought you're the expert. And look, don't let them shut you down on this, because did they just give you an answer to your question? No. Never ask a question unless you plan on getting an answer to it, because otherwise you're just wasting your time. And if you don't get an answer to it, get an answer to it. Otherwise, again, you're just wasting your time. So you want to get an answer to that. Now, you definitely want to address that it's like, oh, well, I thought you were the expert. Absolutely, I am. And there's a lot of tools I have. I just need to know which one it is that's most important to you, which one that you believe is going to help get the property sold, so I could show you that. And that's exactly what we're going to do. It's like, oh, well, one of the things, and if you're talking to a for sale by owner who's already been trying to sell it on their own, what they've been doing probably isn't working. Otherwise, they wouldn't be meeting with you. If they already had their home sold, they wouldn't need you. But they've tried to sell it on their own. They couldn't sell it on their own. So they're probably already coming to terms with the fact that they don't know what they're doing, that they don't know how to get the home sold. So maybe some follow-up questions that we could maybe rephrase this here of, okay, what is it that you've been doing to get the home sold? Oh, well, we've put it on Zillow. And great, and how's that worked out for you? Well, it shows us there's a lot of people viewing the property, but not many people coming to check it out. Oh, I see, okay, that's good to know. What else have you done? That's pretty much it. We got the sign out in the yard, we put it on Zillow, and that I don't know, that's basically it. Okay, that's great. You're already off to a great start. But I want to get into how I could really help get your home sold. But before I do that, what do you think you're missing? What do you think that missing piece is as to why this house hasn't sold yet? Do you think there's any other ways possibly for you to get further exposure on the property? We've got it on Zillow, and we thought that was going to be good, and a bunch of people are seeing it, but no one's coming to see the property. So as a real estate professional here, taking a step aside from this example, what do you think is causing people not to come see this house? That they're getting all kinds of views online on Zillow of their property, but no one's wanting to come even look at this in person. So what's going on? What's wrong? It's probably they've got bad pictures. It's probably they don't have a captivating, compelling description. Maybe their property is overpriced. And depending on what you already know about this property, you might be able to go into one of those things. But now you've already basically had told them, or that you've got them to tell you that that's a problem. So you don't have to go in there and say, well, your pictures kind of suck. You could even pull this out of them, because if you tell them, yeah, your pictures suck, they're not going to like you. That's not going to make them like you. That's not going to make them want to do business with you. So again, you want to pull this information out of them. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think? Because I use Zillow all the time, and we do get appointments off of that. Why do you think you're not getting anybody wanting to look at the house off of Zillow? I don't know. That's a good question. Well, if you had to pick, if you were a buyer and you're looking at this, what would be the reason why you wouldn't want to look at this house? Now, notice what we're doing here. We're not here to tell them how great we are. We're here to show them how we could help them. And first, we have to understand what's going on up here for them. And if they could come to say, well, these pictures are kind of dark. I've looked at some of the other properties on here, and, probably it should have got like a professional photographer or something, or maybe I should have went and bought a camera. Because if they're a for sale by owner, they're probably not going to go hire somebody. They're probably going to see a better deal in them buying a camera at like Best Buy or something, and then going to try to figure out how to use it. And the pictures will probably still suck because they don't know how to use that camera that they just spent all this money to buy. So if we could pull that out of them, and maybe if they're not saying, so what do you think of the pictures? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the quality of these pictures? If we know the pictures are an issue, if we already know that, and this is where you've got to do your homework going into this, if we know that those pictures are the issue, we could say, well, what about the pictures? Do you think that's maybe causing people to not look at it? That could be. Yeah, definitely. This is a beautiful house here, and I don't think these pictures are doing the property justice, do you? Yeah, it probably is the pictures. Yeah. I see where that's coming from there. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think you'd rate the quality of these pictures? Oh, they're probably only like a 5. Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. Well, that's good. This is how we get past these things. This is why I'm the professional. I'm here to help you guys. And notice how we're making this so much more personalized. And now I know today our topic is commission, but this is what's important. You're not going to earn a commission if you don't have them as a client. If they're not your clients, you're not going to earn a commission. So that's what you've got to do first. You've got to earn their trust. And earning their trust is by showing them that you care about them, by showing them that you're listening, by showing them that you can deliver them, that you're not just a Walmart of real estate, that you're not just a place that's going to go down there and slap down a lowball offer and say, here it is, this is the best you're going to get because we just do everything the same way. You're showing them that you're going to make a personalized strategy for them, that you're going to be their advisor. Not just some business that's just trying to charge them a commission and take their money, but somebody that's going to help them get the highest and best price for their property. And now that statistic is really good to have, that whole, I could probably get you at least 10% more, if not 30% more than what you're selling it on your own. But again, you've got to be able to back that up. You've got to have the things it is that you're showing them as to how it is. And again, you've got to dial in to what's important to them. They've already tried to sell it on their own. They haven't been successful. And we could ask leading questions. We could ask leading questions that we already kind of know what they're going to say is the answer to it, to really make our pitch much more personalized, because now they're involved in this. They're involved in our presentation just by us asking questions like, well, what do you think is going to get the property sold quicker? More exposure or less exposure? Oh, well, that's more exposure. More people that see it, more people that want to buy it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's 100% correct. And notice how now I'm just involving in this. I know that who's going to say no? Oh, well, we want less exposure. No one's going to say they want less exposure, especially even if they did say that, even if they did. And this is why you've got to prepare and practice with this. What if they say, well, we really don't want that many people looking at the house? Yeah, I completely understand. I hate strangers coming to my house as well. I'm with you on that one here. But do you think we're going to maybe get more offers if more people look at the property? Yeah, that does sound right. That, I'm sure we'd get more offers if we had more people looking at the property. Exactly. And if they're really pushing down this one here, it's like, well, what if you had more people coming to make an appointment to see the property? Do you think you would get more offers if you had more people coming to see the property? Yeah, I think that's really what we would accomplish. Perfect. My goal is to show you how I'm going to get the most amount of exposure for the property using all the methods I have at my disposal, so that way we get not just one offer, but multiple offers on the property, and we can maybe even incite a bidding war for that. And again, we've got to go through a lot of other things, but notice how we're just pulling at this thread here. If you got a sweater, and here in Tampa, it's a cold day today here in Tampa. It's 73 degrees out right now, so maybe you've got a sweater on. But if you've ever had a loose thread on a sweater, so if you've got a loose thread on a sweater, and you just start pulling at that thread, you pull on that thread enough, that entire sweater is going to come unraveled. Whereas if you just go take a chunk of sweater and you just pull on a sweater and try to rip a chunk out of it, it's not going to come out. So that's what we've got to do here. We've got to have a little finesse and really work this information out of them. We can't just go in there and say, I'm the best, I'm going to get you 10% more, pay me 6%, sign here. Maybe that works. Maybe they're just, they've had enough and they just are like, you know what, let's do it. So, maybe you get some clients that way, but most clients, so you've got to pull on that thread. You've got to pull on that thread. And this isn't just through one-on-one direct communication, your presentation, any marketing it is that you're doing that they're seeing beforehand, your communication with them beforehand. That's all you pulling on the thread before you're even there meeting with them. But again, you kind of finesse through these different things. Because one of the things you might be thinking about, well, what about the price? What if they're overpriced? What if they've got terrible pictures, they've got a terrible description, all they've done is put it on Zillow, they haven't done anything else, and on top of that, they're overpriced? Is the for sale by owner from hell, basically, that they are just doing everything wrong, they don't want to agree with you. Do you want to just say no to them? Do you just want to turn away that business and do something else? You could. Other, real estate gurus and whatnot might say, oh, well, you could just say no to people. Yeah, but that's you saying no to money, and you don't want to be in a habit of saying no to money. You always want to find ways to say yes. And part of that is going to be your skills. You saying no to somebody is just kind of throwing in the towel and taking the easy way out. Because you could walk away from that. You could walk away from this for sale by owner and say, well, I don't have to work with them. And no, you don't. No one's going to force you to work with them, but are you going to make any money from them by saying no to them? No, you're not. If you want to have a deal, if you want to have an agreement, if you want to get the property listed, if you want to add to your inventory, and maybe even somehow lose money in getting this property sold, but I bet it's going to help you find more buyers. I bet it's going to help you find more sellers. If anything, maybe you're new, it's just going to help you get some experience. Maybe you do negotiate a lower commission than you'd wanted to charge, but at least you're making progress. You're finding ways to say yes so you could get better, you could become more experienced, you could still deliver them a great experience, and that way they give you a great testimonial so you could show that to future clients. You have a story to use with future clients. And so sometimes you might have to negotiate your commission. Now that's the last thing I would say to do, but if it's no commission versus a lower commission, take the lower commission. Again, you don't have to, but that's saying no to money. And again, you don't want to be in a habit of that. And if you can't negotiate a higher commission, well, bring it back on you. What is it that you could do to become better, to become more skilled, become more tactful to where they're lining up to pay you whatever commission rate it is that you're wanting to actually charge. So look, this is about all the time we've got for today, so thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, drop those in the comments. We'll hit these questions before we go. I see that there's one comment in here. Heard there's no money to make as a real estate agent. And that's absolutely false. The only way there'd be no money to make in a real estate agent is if everybody never moved. Everybody already has a place to live and they never wanted to move from that place again, which I don't care where you're at in the world, that is not the case. People are always moving. Now, if you're just going in there trying to ask for, hey, give me 6% so I could sell your home, they're going to say, well, I could sell my home on my own. What do I need you for? Again, that's that whole for sale by owner argument right there. And this is, if you could turn a for sale by owner from not wanting to pay anything to paying you whatever full commission it is that you're asking for, then you understand this concept that value comes before commission. But there's plenty of money that is to be made out there. Let's say you got a $300,000 house, and this is a little bit off the topic, kind of on the topic here. What's the commission on a $300,000 house? Well, if it's a 6% commission on $300,000, that's $18,000. 3% is $9,000. $18,000 on a $300,000 house with a 6% commission. Now, again, that gets split between you and the cooperating broker if you're not representing the buyer as well. So then that's $9,000. Maybe you have a split with your broker, which maybe brings it down to $7,000 or $8,000. But $7,000 or $8,000 for one deal is a pretty nice payday. So there's plenty of money to be made out there in real estate, but again, you've got to arm yourself with the knowledge. You don't want to be an average agent. An average real estate agent is nothing really too spectacular. You've got to really put in the work, put in the time, put in the effort to really learn this, so that way you could deliver the best value to your clients. So look, that's all the time we've got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Call us at the phone number below if you need to get your real estate license, do post license, continue education, or anything like that. The phone number is 813-333-2676. Again, 813-333-2676. That's all the time we've got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate.